Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, One More Skill. It's episode number 3, and the topic we'll discuss today is checklist. My permanent guest is Vardan Petrossiantz. Hello, Vardan.
Hi, Susanna.
Vardan, can you please tell us what is checklist?
Checklist specifies on how to complete task in series of steps and at the same time avoid costly or minor mistakes in daily life, work, and critical situations. Checklists are suitable tools, especially for the professions which are overloaded and have tasks with a repetitive character. Checklist is an example of dynamic and living document which improves and changes over the time. Checklist is used by many people who would like to compensate the potential limits of human memory and make sure that nothing important is skipped. So in this way, checklist becomes a document which will guarantee quality, ensure standardization, consistency, and will simplify even the most complex processes. Checklists predict and also guarantee a consistent outcome. Every time by completing a checklist, you will get probably the same result.
I wonder, is the document still a checklist if there is no place to check it off?
There are various reasons why checking off or striking out a step in a checklist is vital part of this kind of documents. Although it may seem that this process, the checking off or striking out, doesn't bring any specific value to your result. The first reason is the completion of a step. So you make sure by checking off the step that the step is completed. The next important part is that you don't repeat the task. So once you have checked the step, you know that you have completed it and you won't be doing it for the second time. Especially for medical checklist, it is very important. So the checklists are creating a clear separation between what is done and what is not done. And even if you pause your work and come the next day, this is especially good for long-term checklists, then you know from where you should continue. And in the third place, and maybe most important, is the dopamine release during the physical completion of the step. So at that moment of the physical completion, you get satisfaction. This is the moment of happiness. And this is a guarantee that you will also enjoy your work. So if a checklist doesn't have any place to check it off, or this is not a paper checklist where you can just strike out the step, then this is more an instruction rather than checklist. It will guide you through a process, will give you recommendations, but the goal of checklist is to give you step-by-step completion possibility through activity and make it a bit interactive.
Such a beautiful description wow, of checklist. Thank you so much. What is the difference between checklist and instruction?
That's a good question because sometimes we have overlaps when using instructions and checklist. Let's imagine we have a surgery checklist. When we complete it, highly probably we won't become surgeon after that. Checklist is meant to give you key elements in the process so that you don't forget them. And those elements, key elements, can be easily forgotten because of time pressure, rush, or inattentiveness. Instructions tend to give more detailed information. They want to provide so much information that a person reading instruction after that will gain a huge portion of knowledge of product or about the process. So checklist itself should be simple and not overwhelming. It shouldn't be long, and for instructions, we have no limits. They can be hundreds of pages, but the checklist, if you use descriptions or any screenshot or additional information there, you should try not to have it on a display. So I'm not talking about paper checklist right now, but if we use it on a phone or on a laptop, the description should be expandable and collapsible, and you should just have a small item. And checklist is meant for the people who already once went through a process. They know how to work with a product and they know how to complete the task. It is more a reminder for them. And finally, if we talk about a specific instruction, for example, an instruction of a mixer, how to set up a mixer, you will only need 10% of instruction to set up it. All additional information are needed for other situations or maybe to give you more details. But a good instruction can be a fundament for a checklist. And otherwise, you can use a checklist to create a detailed instruction if you extend it with more information.
That was a very thorough introduction to checklist skill, Vardan. Thank you so much. Today we have learned one more skill. See you next week.